Hey everyone, it's Karstyrus here with a world record speedrun in the any percent category for An American Tale of Fievel Goes West for the Super Nintendo. It took me a lot of attempts and grinding to get this world record back, but we did it, and I'm very excited to review the run with you guys and go over some of the mechanics in the game. At the start of each zone, there's two cutscenes you want to mash through with the start button. Jumping is one of the biggest things. It's an action platformer. You'll notice on a lot of these jumps, Fievel kind of pauses when he hits the ground after a jump, and on some of them he's got a more smooth transition into just walking. If you press jump the instant that Fievel hits the ground, he'll jump instantly without any delay. If you don't do that and you just walk forward, then he'll do a little couple frame time loss animation where he has to get going again. So something to improve on is perfect jumps. That's something I want to do in the future. This run's sweet when it's done well, because you just do these big jumps at the start. A little bit of a damage boost there. This conveyor belt's moving in the opposite direction, but if you perfect jump off of it, it's like you're on any other platform, so improving that can save a few frames. That gold box is a backup water gun. You don't really need the water gun here to progress, but if you want to go fast with those really good shots there, then you'll need the water gun. At a certain point in each stage, you lose control of Fievel and he just walks to the right. So it's important to be on the ground, walking smoothly when that happens, otherwise that's a few frames lost there too. This is the first boss, One Eye. It takes 7 hits. I took a really weird piece of damage there, which threw off the rest of my run. Bosses can only be damaged every so often. They'll flash for a bit when they get hit, and you can't damage them for a while in that time. But 2 minutes is still a very solid Zone 1. You'll notice that I had hearts there underneath One Eye's text. For every heart above 1 that you have, that's a time loss, because it has to add the hearts to your score. So you want to try to finish each boss with 1 heart for optimal times. A couple more cutscenes here to mash for sewers. I don't know what the game designers were doing with sewers, but the first 3 levels is technically considered 1 stage. So it's fast to stay in this can and hold right. There's a couple of spots that you want to jump out. So on the first zone here, you jump out once, and then on the stage 2, you jump out twice, stage 3, you jump out twice, and it's good to stay in the can because it's safe and you go pretty fast. The TAS actually swims in the water the whole time, but for something that's easy to replicate with, human input, staying in the can and jumping out when there's danger is pretty much all you need to do. That right there, you want to jump out and hit it and just not stay in the can at that point. I don't know, I just wasn't paying attention there. But it takes a while at that point in time, like right here, for the can to get moving again that you're in. So jumping out at that second point is just, and continuing to finish the rest of the few seconds of the level is just faster. There's another fish up here you wanna... Nope, this is the rest of the level. So that was technically a stage, those 3 stages combined. The timer is shared between them. It's really an obscure choice. It's the only stage that does that. So sewers level 2-2. I messed up that barrel jump there. Being in the water and walking in the water is the same speed, but sometimes you get stuck on walls like that when you have to jump out. Fievel will jump out of the water as long as his gun is at water level. And then you can get an optimal hop out of him from that. I got a safety heart there. I need 2 hearts for a damage boost later. So that cost me a little time to backtrack and get, because I took too much damage earlier. My frame rate of this recording is not 100% perfect, so I'll fix that for the next run I upload. Here's the damage boost. You can kinda still do that without the damage boost, but it'll cost you a little bit of time. The water there pulls you underground like a vacuum, so getting that barrel jump is really important. This is Puppet. You shoot Puppet when you come in, and then you just jump shoot in a rhythm, and he takes 10 hits. And there's an invincibility star in the box underneath me, but you don't need it. It will damage the boss. So if you mistime your shot, he'll do a little tantrum instead of his damage animation, which is a flash on the screen, which just isn't in this recording, so I do apologize again for the recording quality. Next time, we'll get it. So finished optimally with 1 heart here, so we won't have any time lost to heart ticks. You do have to hold down B for the "You done real good, son" text to speed it up. So that is something that you do have to pay attention to on those score screens. You can't just completely check out. So trains is really fun. Something to do in these rides is jump out before you hit the boulder. And if you hit the boulder with the cart, Fievel will just drop and it'll lose a little bit of time, so jumping out just saves you from that animation. I don't immediately go forward in these minecarts. That cat was really rude and shot me. I'm still trying to figure out how to get that consistent to where he doesn't shoot. So like right there, I fell down in the minecart. So I'm doing a specific manipulation here by not just holding right in the minecart as soon as I find it, because the boulder will still be there and you'll run into it and lose time. So we wait a very minuscule amount of time to let the boulder despawn, and then you can be in the minecart the whole time without worrying about crashing and having to walk a ways or taking any damage. Second stage of trains. The boulders don't attack you on this one, but there are some pretty rude cats when you're out of your minecart. You want to slow down, otherwise your minecart will actually hit the wall on that gap there, and you'll lose it, and then that's just a big time loss for having to walk your way all the way over here. Ninja Cat comes up from behind you here. After you collect the third coin, it's a good time to, if you need to, just shoot him. Another cat there. I don't have a name for that guy yet. He hasn't wronged me too many times. This is Business Casual Cat, or Optimistic Cat, or whatever you want to call him. I'm still optimizing that name. And then that's a little damage boost there. It doesn't save too much time, but that one boulder does come after you at the end, and, you know, the damage boost saves you a minuscule amount of time, but if you have 3 hearts, just why not go for it? This stage is really weird. So these platforms fall when you walk on them. You can really just die if you walk underneath them, like if you fall between the gaps, and sometimes you just land a certain way and you walk through the gap and you die, and it's no good. So Fievel can jump these 2-barrel high obstacles. Just gotta get a little bit close to do it. Once you get on that last bridge, the level's pretty much devoid of threat. So this is an RNG boss. I need to practice this boss a lot to see if I can manipulate it. Chula has a random pattern where sometimes he'll attack you, and sometimes he'll just move around a lot, and sometimes he'll just stand still. That was a reasonable fight, but it can be way better where he stays down below and just doesn't move. I just haven't lucked out with that in a good run yet. One thing to note in this game is your bullets, when you shoot them, no longer exist when they go off of the screen. So if you try to shoot like that boss, who has a random movement pattern off of the screen, your bullet will disappear and you won't actually damage him. It's the same for every screen in this game. If your bullet leaves the screen, it just is collected and is no longer there. You can only have one bullet on the screen at a time unless you pick up some power-ups scattered throughout the game, and even then the power-ups only last for the stage that you're in, and so you can max out at 3 bullets on screen, and it's just it's just not that useful for the speedrun, unfortunately, to have any more, especially since bosses have that invulnerability period. So this first desert stage, the cacti, in this one, in the second and the third stage here, you sink into them if you stand on them or just walk on them, so you have to jump right off of them, otherwise after like less than like a quarter second, I want to say, you'll take damage. So perfect jumps can really speed desert up if you get very good at them. Scorpions is my least favorite stage in the game. Sometimes they just behave in very weird ways, and I'm not the best at cactus perfect jumps yet. You can get a really good perfect jump onto that gold block there to skip a little bit of stage and save some time. So I'm just playing a little bit safe because Fievel's at 1 heart, and I've been messing up a lot of these cactus jumps, which is, again, something to improve on for the next run that I upload. That was a really close scorpion. These last few scorpions are just gut-wrenching jumps, because if you don't get a good jump off, you're just going to land on the scorpion and take a hit. So when you're at 1 heart, it's very challenging. It's a lot of focus. I like this night stage a lot. If I get through scorpions, I know I'm in good hands, because you can kind of just autopilot this stage. You get a free heart and an invincibility star up here. I took a little bit of time to get that extra heart because I wasn't sure if I was going to need it. There's a hero bird at the end that sometimes gets me. So you can just walk under these cow skulls in the quicksand. Yeah, that hero bird, sometimes I miss him and he ruins my day, so I just got the safety heart. This boss is Hawk. He takes a while to come in from the background, and he is a tough 1 cycle to get. But he takes 8 hits. After 3 hits on the ground, you start doing jump hits on his talons. And if you jump off to the right here, at a specific angle, you'll cut some of the Fievel walking to the right animation. There is actually an invisible wall you can hit if you jump too far off of that ledge. The stage normally disappears, but it's faster to just jump off the bottom. So a little time lost because we have 2 hearts here. If you hit the wall by jumping too far, Fievel just ends up on the far left of that desert scene where he's walking to the right, so getting the right angle there is pretty important to save a little time. I like Wild West a lot. Wild West is also a really cool stage. All 3 parts of it, including the boss. I think this first Wild West stage can be optimized a bit. I've been experimenting not taking the invincibility star, which is coming up here. This block right there that I skipped that I just jumped on that has an invincibility star. It's hard to get it because the boulder blocks it, and I feel like it's a waste of time, but I need to get better at my strategy with these jumps. So I lose a little bit less time to Fievel's frame lag. Ideally, I want to finish this stage and the next stage at full health because I do an interesting strategy on the last boss to pseudo one-cycle it. So you can just hold right for the first, like, really long time in this stage, and Fievel doesn't have to worry about taking any damage. You want to jump over that cat and not shoot him. That's an invincibility star, which you don't need. You really don't need this one. This stage just throws invincibility at you. You can walk through that cat instead of jump shooting him with the invincibility star, but if you miss it, you can just jump shoot, and it's basically the same time spent. That first box has a heart in it if you need it, and this has an invincibility star, which is more useful because the wheels start to get a little bit more aggressive. That last gold block in the stage is another heart if you need it. If you're going really fast, you can just walk through that last big cat with your invincibility, but I usually jump for safety. So Fievel will enter the saloon if he just walks over it, the entrance there. This is kind of a level and a boss at the same time. These baby snakes fall from the ceiling on the first 2 levels. As you're making your way up, you don't have to really worry about them too much if you shoot them, because they don't respawn. So it's nice to clean them up. The one cycle is, you get close to him, so he throws his hat, you get 3 shots off on him. And I figured out, if you stand on this table for a bit and then move over, you can get him to throw his hat early here. He takes 3 hits on the top level, 4 hits there, then 2 hits from the back here. I only got 1 there, which is something to improve. So I had to wait for a last hat throw there. But you can get 2 shots on the back of his head through that hole, and then he throws his hat as you damage boost through him. And then you get 3 more shots off of the hat. That's the optimal strategy there. And time is when the screen fades to black before any of this score counting or hearts count, so you don't have to be at 1 heart for the last boss. It was a really good run. Definitely points to improve, like improving the pseudo one cycle on Kadar Wall, and all of the other just small mistakes with movement, and then something to work on is perfect jumps, so that we don't lose frames where we don't need to. And then just grinding out for the perfect RNG Chula spider fight in the train split. That's something that I really ought to work on. Thanks for watching the run, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.